Um, and many of you, when you hear my name, Fela Durotoye, you always think Fela must be a rascally person. Because most people think about the name Fela, and the first image that comes to them is Fela Anikulapo Kuti. But Fela is actually a very, very powerful name. It's not the name of a rascal, even though I was rascally growing up. But Fela is the shortened form of another name. So Fela is the shortened form of the name Olufela. And Olufela is the shortened form of a name in Yoruba, Oluwafeolami, which means the Lord has enlarged my territory, my asset base, my wealth, my wealthy place. My mother told me that it's actually a name from the prayer of Jabez, enlarge my territory. And one of the things that most people realize is, whilst Fela is a name that most people know me by, but my first name, or especially on my passport, is actually not Fela. It's a name that used to bring me a lot of pain growing up. Just yesterday, I saw my secondary school results. I think in my second year and my third year, and in secondary school, and I saw again that it was just Durotoye and that name that was put on it. And I remember how much pain I used to go through for the first 26 years of my life. I honestly didn't like my parents much for the first 26 years. Some of you will understand later. But like Jabez had a name that brought him pain. My name was not the name from Jabez, but it was a similar pain that I felt. And I'm glad that in the Wesley Chapel, this is a Methodist church, good people are here and nobody wants to bring me pain, so nobody wants to know the name. I'm sorry? You said what? I should tell you. I just told you that the name brings me pain. You still want me to tell you the name? I should tell you. You will pray for my healing. All right. Well, the name that my first find it on my passport is actually Adetokunbo. And when you think about the word Adetokunbo, some of you think it means fairly used. No, it's not that I was fairly used when I came. No. But Adetokunbo is the name that is given to anybody that was born and brought from over the Atlantic. Atlantic is the Okun. And so when you say Adetokunbo, you are talking about someone who was brought over the Atlantic. And most times when you find an Adetokunbo, is a person who was born abroad and brought over the Atlantic. Most such people, as you typically know, are entitled to passports, foreign passports, apart from the passports of this country. And therein lies my greatest pain and is that actually I'm the only Adetokunbo you probably know that is only entitled to one passport and is a Nigerian passport. Why? Because my parents took a decision in the 7th year of my mother's pregnancy in Toronto, Canada, to relocate me back home. And what had happened was my mother told me that my father had dreamt a dream, woke up from that dream and said, we've got to take this one back home. And he told my mom it's a boy, even though they had not done a scan. Now, prior to my birth, my parents had 2 kids, 1 boy and 1 girl. So it's not like in my own case where I have 3 boys. And my wife was saying, do you want to try for a girl? I say, I don't have any girls inside me. If you try me again, I'll give you 3 boys straight this time. Not triplets, 3 boys. I don't have. If I have, I'll give you, but I don't have. But in my father's case, he obviously had at least 1 girl in him. But without checking, doing a scan for the gender of the child, my father received in a dream that this one, and this one said, not what I'm saying, my mom said it. My mom said to me, my father said, this one is a special one. We have to take him home. And so to cut the long story short, I was conceived in Canada, in Toronto, Canada, and I was received in Oluyole, Ibadan.